the bright side, Macy here, the bright side girl, and today we're doing my July reading wrap up. Stay tuned, tomorrow I will be doing my July audiobook wrap up. Once that's available, I'll link it up here in the cards for you guys. For now, we're going to be talking about the physical things that I read in July. So I guess it's my norm now to read about 3.5 books every month. That's fine. Busy summer, busy life, weird things happening. So I did complete some things that I really love and I'm really excited to talk about them. I had like a weird color scheme this month, like blue and light blue. So we're first gonna go a little bit out of order and talk about this one thing I DNF'd. So I did DNF The 13th Princess by Diane Zahler. This is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, which is one of my favorite fairy tales, and I love retellings of all kinds. This one was just a little bit more middle grade than what I prefer, and it just wasn't capturing my attention. In fact, the fairy tale kind of retelling part didn't really even come into play until almost like 180 pages into the book, and so I wound up deciding to DNF this one. I think that if you have a middle grade child that especially loves retellings and things like that, they'll probably really love this. It's just not the best for adults. And we are going to talk about The Book Jumper. I don't know how to pronounce her name because she's German and it's very intense. I started this one quite a while ago and I just kept picking up other things even though I was really enjoying it. So this is about our lead character Amy, and her mom decide to go and spend some time with her grandmother in Scotland. They're from Germany, and while she's there, her grandmother is insisting that she reads while she's at this place called the Lennox House, but not in the usual way. She finds out that she's a book jumper and she can dive into stories and kind of manipulate and pay attention to the worlds that are going on, and it's part of like their family legacy. Kind of similar to Inkheart by Cornelia Funk, which is also a German book that's been translated, so I found that kind of interesting. I really enjoyed it. The ending was really surprising. Something happened that I was not expecting, and it was really fun. I loved the setting, being in Scotland, being in like a big fancy mansion, and them having to learn to do all these different kinds of tasks. So I found this super enjoyable. It was fun to dive in different story worlds and learn all kinds of stuff like that. So I wound up giving this one, I think, 4 stars. And then the last 2 things I physically read were from the first part of the month for Mermaid Marathon. I wound up completing, I think 3 books physically, but one of them was in June, so I put that one in that wrap up. So first we're going to talk about Dark Tides by J.J. Marshall. So this actually is a new author friend of mine. My friend Jessica introduced me to her because they are co-authoring a different book, which stay tuned, I'll talk about that in the future. And JJ kindly sent me this one to read and also to do as part of the giveaway for Mermaid Marathon because it is a adult Little Mermaid retelling. And so this is a self-published book. It's book 1 in a series, and it's kind of got a lot of retellings in here, like not just the Little Mermaid. There are a lot of like different characters and elements from other fairy tales as well, and also like kind of Disney-ish stuff. This is adult, so it has some darker themes, like real intense darker themes, and a little bit of sexual content, so keep that in mind. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like this at first because she said that people kind of either loved or hated it, and she was curious to see what I thought. I did wind up really enjoying it. It's a really like fun, immersive, and quick read. It's only about 220 pages, so it's a very fast read as well. Just keep in mind with this one that it is self-published, which they just tend to have a little bit of a different tone to them, and I still found it really enjoyable, but I just kind of kept that in mind. Like if there was like a couple words that were repeated and things like that, it was just because of the self-published nature of the book. I really enjoyed it overall. If you like fairy tale retellings and just like really fun, adventurous, but also kind of dark and gritty reads, then I would definitely check this one out. And it has a beautiful cover. So I wound up giving this one, I think, 4 stars. Then I was crazy and decided to pick up Mermaid Moon by Susan Cokal. This is the only book that I have ordered new this year, and I literally just ordered it because it's the most beautiful book of all time. I've talked about this before. I mean, look at this cover, spine, and then sprayed edges, and then the naked book. I literally was like, I don't even care if I don't like this book because it's so beautiful. It's that pretty. This is a young adult mermaid fantasy, and it was so good. Like, this is one of my top 5 books of the year so far. I was so surprised and so thrilled that I loved it so much. It has kind of a old-fashioned fairy tale writing style to it. We've got like a castle, and we've got kind of like a snooty baroness's son that's kind of like a snooty prince, and he's hilarious. And we have a mermaid who's on a journey to discover something. There's a witch in here. There are so many different elements, so many magical things. I absolutely loved this. I was shocked. I flew through this so quickly. It's so incredibly beautiful. Each chapter ends so well. The ending of the chapters are so perfect. I can't even describe them. Just like, they just make you want to keep reading, and they're clever, and it's funny, and it's sad, and it's heartwarming, and it was just all these different elements in it. It was just so much fun to read about. It kind of reminded me of the writing style for Uprooted, if you really like Uprooted, and that really heavy like fantasy fairy tale language. It was great. Oh, I really loved it. Baroness's son that is in here kind of has like a princey attitude. He kind of reminds me of like the prince from Shrek, and he literally has a friend that he calls Chicken Legs. It's just so hilarious. He'll be like, Chicken Legs, what do you think about this? And he'll be like, oh, you're so funny, Chicken Legs. And I just could not stop laughing. I was literally like laughing out loud because he was just such a perfectly hilarious and entertaining character. But then at the end, so many amazing things happen, and there was like romance, but it wasn't just about the romance. I could like gush about this forever. If you haven't picked this up already, you need to. This is definitely 5 stars, and it's gorgeous. So those are the books that I wound up reading for July. I didn't actually even complete anything for the reading rush. I was kind of a whole mess, but I had a really great time and I really enjoyed these a lot. So that's always the goal. Tomorrow I will talk about all of the audiobooks I listened to, and there were a ton. So get a cup of coffee ready, and I'll see you tomorrow next time on The Bright Side. Bye!